Good morning to everybody, and thank you very much, Enrico, for joining us and facilitating to have this interview. As you know, yearly basis we celebrate our annual Elkargi business event, and this year, on the 35th, the title of it is Quo Vadis Europe, and at this stage we consider that to have your view, your knowledge was really mandatory. That's why thank you very much, and I said it's a real pleasure. In 2023 you had a mandate from the Commission in order to write a report. The report that the title finally was much more than a market. From what I have read, this helps you, or this help you to go through a fascinating journey. I will focus maybe that this has been a journey of listening. What did you listen? What did you feel during this journey? Can you give us
First of all, it was a journey that I received the suggestion from Jacques Delors himself. I met him last time before he passed away. I met him in September 23 when the European institutions asked me to write this report. The report was presented last year in 24, and Jacques Delors told me the single market means the people of Europe. So don't close yourself in a meeting, in a office in Brussels. Go everywhere in Europe, and told me very clearly not limit yourself and the trip to the national capitals, because the true life is in the regions. I come from an Italian province, Pisa, so I'm very comfortable with this approach. And this is why I organized this journey, and the journey was really fascinating for me. I visited Bilbao also during this listening period, and 65 cities, all the 27 countries, meeting also out of the European Union, more than 400 meetings. I listened a lot, and some of the ideas came to my mind during the meetings, coming from the perception of the difficulties we have, the excessive fragmentation we have in Europe. That is today the big problem when we have to face giants like China, India, or the US. Each of our country is a small province if we compare to China, India, and the US. Can you imagine each of our regions? It is a barrio de una ciudad, de China or de India or de Estados Unidos. Entonces, for me it was great. I had a lot of hope at the end of this journey, because I had the feeling that there are some, I would say, stereotypes that we continue to have, but in reality the fil rouge that is uniting us is absolutely bigger than we think. So I am sure that there are a lot of solutions that we can put on the table, and I think these solutions can be absolutely effective.
Which are, in your view, the key conclusions of your report, let's say?
The first, the starting point is the following one. We have the single currency in our wallets. We think that we are united as economy. In reality, we don't. Because the member states, decided to be united on the monetary union, but to keep for the national level many of the other economic union aspects. Telecom, energy, financial services, all topics where they decided to keep the national dimension in a time in which China and India, the BRICS, weren't there. I proposed 3 roadmaps on how to integrate these 3 topics, starting from the financial services, because having the same currency and 27 financial services markets, it's absolutely a madness. And this is why we are today a colony of the US on financial markets. And in reality, I try to use always this same message. And the message is the fragmentation in 27 markets, national markets, is making happy not the national flag, but is making happy Wall Street, Trump, the Chinese, and the BRICS. 3 roadmaps to integrate, and the financial services as the main topic to create a strong capital markets to raise private investments, because private investments are absolutely necessary to accompany the big public goods that we need in Europe: security, global green transition, innovation, and on that public money is not enough because we don't have it. And so we need also private money.
And maybe Trump and his advisors read the report very carefully and are taking actions in order to help this fragmentation.
I think what they are doing today, they are pushing to create more fragmentation because they try to divide European countries. When they say we attack only German cars, for instance, that is they think to be, I would say, bright, wise. In reality, what I was saying also to my fellow Italians, compatriot, was to say, if he attacks the German cars, he's attacking Italy too, and Spain and Poland, because part of the German car is realized in Italy or in Spain or in Poland. So it's impossible today to divide country by country. So we have to respond united.
Yeah, it's like when you say that if you are not united, will not be part of the table with the US, China, BRICS. Let's say each state, even if ones are bigger than others, are not able to sit in this table unless we are united.
In reality, there's a difference between being united in taking decisions or being integrated. I think we have to be integrated because the main problem is the fact that we are 27 and we will stay 27 because the national countries will stay. The key point is that on some issues we have to do as we did with the euro. So we have to integrate, we have to be one. If we are one on telecom, on energy, on financial markets, we are able to compete with the others. If we are not one, we will lose, as we are losing today. We are losing on financial markets, we are losing on energy, we are losing on telecom, and what is the advantage of being integrated? Is the fact that we can have common policies to raise and to get the missions that you mentioned, for instance. So we need to be integrated, to have a financial market integrated, to be able to raise money for investments. Do you know why the US are winning or won in the last decade on innovation, for instance? They won because of private capitals. On artificial intelligence, on space, I take 2 iconic topics. They won because of private capitals, not because of public money. Why? Because they were able to multiply 4 times the private investments in the last 10 years. And it is the main problem we are having, because at the end of the day, we are a colony of the US. And the main problem today, when we talk about security, it is not just defense. It's in general the need to be autonomous and independent as Europeans on energy, on financial services, on defense, of course. And this is the key issue, and we have to work in that direction. My report goes in that direction, and the book that you mentioned at the beginning is the way to explain also the journey that created these solutions in the report, and the reason why this kind of track and this kind of mission is fundamental.
It's true that large multinationals are able to handle the different laws in different nations, but SMEs have no way, have not capacities. You present one option or one proposal, one solution, that is Virtual State 28. Can you explain it about?
I started in Bilbao because I was in Bilbao, the great event with SMEs there, European event on SMEs. I spent a lot of time there to discuss on this, and I had this, I would say, light. The light was the fact that 17% of SMEs take advantage of the single market.
Yeah. It's nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing. And the main problem is that they feel that the single market is a threat. Yeah. Why? Because they receive competition from big companies on their region, on their ground, and it is the way for them to consider that the single market is a minus, not a plus. And why? Not only because of the vertical fragmentation, as I mentioned before, telecom, energy, financial services, but also because there's an horizontal fragmentation. The rules are fragmented. For instance, business law. Business law, we have 27 business laws, and I know in Spain you have also the regional fragmentation, that is another point, is a way to raise obstacles. Of course, we have to create this system, but if we create this system, it would be a revolution. It's a sort of Delaware. In the US, they have it. They have the Delaware. And the Delaware, some decades ago, changed everything in the US. And it changed, and it was the bridge and the creation of the true American single market.
And now what? Let's say the ideas are great.
No, the key point is that we have to consider that being independent and autonomous as Europeans is not a luxury, is a need, is a duty.
Crystal clear. Defense, this is something we have to face, and we have to face together, right? I mean, you were saying that we are buying to the states, etc. Maybe, as Jacques Delors was saying, we have to rebuild Europe, and we have to update our Europe to our needs, no?
Yes, I take the opportunity of this question to underline one point. I think there's a big risk in Europe today. The big risk is to have an overrated discussion on defense as arms, as weapons.
Yeah.
I would prefer a discussion on security. And security is a broader term. Security means energy independence, strong financial sector, connectivity, being independent in terms of infrastructures. This means security. It's not just weapons. And this is why the integration of the single market is so important. We have to integrate to be stronger and not to be dependent someone from abroad. You know, some days ago, Elon Musk told the Ukrainians, behave, otherwise I switch off. And I think it's the idea that someone from abroad can disconnect and create a sort of disaster, and we are all depending on him. Mm-hmm. I think is the big boost to say we have to be autonomous, and this is security. How
do we fight protectionism? With more protectionism?
No, we fight reacting to those attacking us with protectionism, and at the same time opening to others.
We have to think on Europe, maybe, no? Just focus on Europe and be much more open to other areas, just considering and thinking on Europe first.
Yes, we have to work on that, and we have to work on that at all levels. The regions, they have to be protagonists. I can tell you that for me, the regional level is fundamental. I was in these days at the Committee of the Regions in Brussels, addressing the Committee of Regions. I met many presidents of regions. I met the Lendakari, for instance. And Emmanuel was very interesting for me discussing with him on this topic, and many other presidents of regions, the president of Catalonia, for instance, Salvatore Illa, and many presidents in my country, in Germany, where the lenders are very important. and mayors too, because it's also a topic that is for local authorities. So I think we have to be together, and we have to make this discussion within Europe a discussion that is bottom-up, as the journey had. In reality, my report applied a bottom-up approach, and I'm very proud of this approach.
Which is the key message you will share with all our audience in order to finish this interview?
Do not fear. Do not have any fear to lose your identity opening to Europe. It's exactly the opposite.
We in Elkargi focus on financial knowledge, on financial culture. I think we need as well Europeans' culture just to boost it. Thank you very much, Enrico. It has been really a pleasure, very inspiring. And you are always invited to come to the Basque Country. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.